Cool. All right. Now I am going to begin. Going to share my screen. All right. Let's talk about our class. So it's all going to be run through the modules area. Okay. Actually, hold on a second. If you have a question, I won't be able to see the chat window, so you're going to have to unmute yourself, ask your question, and then mute your mic back. Okay, please. So everything is going to be run through Canvas, and I've spent the last, uh, couple weeks working 10, 12 hours a day designing this content, and I'm still not done with it. So you're going to be going through the content as I'm designing the next set of content, okay? So let's go to our 835 class, because that's what this WebEx is, who this is WebEx is for. So when you first come in here, you're going to first see the syllabus, okay? So one of the things that we're going to do right now is talk about the changes to the syllabus, all right? So the only thing that has changed, the only thing, but it's a big thing, is actually the grading structure, okay? Um, you still have 4 exams, and you're going to be dropping the lowest one. Okay, so you've already taken 2 exams. You're going to take 2 more. You're going to take one on voltage and one on circuits. Um, the in-class participation, I've had to separate out um, to just its own grade system. So that's worth 8% of your total grade. Okay, so I've cut it in, I think we were a little bit more than 8 weeks. It was 8.5 weeks into the semester. So that's why it used to be 14% and now it's 8. Okay. In the modules, which I'm going to show you, are virtual quizzes. They're reading quizzes and end of activity quizzes. That is going to be worth 16%. Basically, the final exam is going to be this part, right? And anybody have any questions so far? Um, so nobody's having any questions. All right. The lab
Hello.
experiment. I heard somebody say something.
Yeah, that's me, Claudio.
Hey, Claudio.
Yeah, I just want to ask you, how we're going to be taking our tests, our last 2 tests.
Okay, that's a good question. I wish probably had said that. The last 2 tests are either going to be, well, one of them is going to be taken in Sapling, and it is going to be a time test, but you'll have, I think it'll be 4 problems, and um, the so the test on voltage is going to be taken in Sapling, and that is going to be a time test. And I think I'll give you like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and it'll be 4 problems. And it won't be anything too difficult. Um, this is a unique situation, so the grading system, and all the grades I'm going to take with a grain of salt. You're being tossed into a situation where you didn't sign up for it. Um, so having to take a class online is completely different than having to take class in a physical situation, because I'm not going to be able to be there with you if you have any questions. Like if you need to clarify one of the problems in Sapling, I don't know how to, I can't help you. All right. So unfortunately, this is the situation. So I will be really considerate of our situation in grading that exam in Sapling. The 4th exam is going to be done in Canvas, and that'll be the exam on circuits. And I don't know how my teaching is online in the recorded videos, but in class, I think everybody was getting a 90% or above on that exam, from what I remember. If Isaac is there, Isaac, can you unmute yourself for a second? You took a similar exam in engineering, and how did you feel about that stuff? Do you remember if you did?
I don't think I missed a single problem on circuits in your ECE 1 class.
Okay.
The
Thanks,
exam.
So that exam, that fourth exam, if you don't get, well, again, I don't know how my teaching is online, but in class, people were getting 100%. I would have to say the majority of the class was getting 100%. And some people were getting 85% or 90%. So that's a really good exam. All right, Claudio, did that help? So just to clarify, you've taken 2 in-class exams. The third exam is going to be done through Sapling. The fourth exam is going to be done in Canvas. Okay?
I have a question, Tim.
Sure. Yeah.
So are there a time frame that we can take this exam? Are you going to open it up for a day or a certain time that we have to take the exam?
Okay. So what's going to happen is in Canvas and Sapling. I'm going to schedule it from the outset, and I'm going to basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to say on these 2 days you have a chance to. So I'm going to give you 2 days to do the exam, and whatever day you choose, when you log in and you hit start the exam, that's when the clock starts ticking. And you'll then have an hour and a half, 2 hours to complete the exam. But you don't start the exam until you want to start the exam. So I suggest getting everything prepared and ready to go. Just like class time, prepare like class time. And as soon as you sit down and you want to start the exam, you hit start. But I'll schedule it for you have to take it within this 2-day period of time. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Really good questions. So those are the exams. The virtual quizzes and end of activity quizzes. Those are our in-class quiz questions that I have to cause us to have more of a discourse in class and rather me just lecture to you guys. So I've moved those to be taken online, and the problem with that is that they can be very difficult questions. Okay. So the grading on this, on the virtual quizzes, the reading quizzes and end of activity quizzes that are going to be done in Canvas, it'll be difficult, and I'll pay attention to the grades. I know you aren't used to this type of learning probably, and this might be your first experience with it. So, is there any questions on the virtual quizzes and end of activity quizzes? I'll go through one of our modules in a second, okay, and show you what we're doing. Lab experiments and lectured lab tutorials. Those are basically the stuff that we're doing in lab class. I've moved them to online. So I've written online labs that are in PDF form. You'll have to basically go through. You're gonna download a PDF, and it'll have fillable areas, and you'll be able to draw on the PDF and create shapes and draw vectors. And type into fillable areas. But they're basically, you will have to go to PHET, start a simulation, and then start walking yourself through this lab, okay? And you can't move on to the next area until you've completed that lab and turned it into me, okay? So, and then there are also lab tutorials. So again, you have to complete the lab tutorial and then turn it back into me before you can move on to the next area. Okay. So as you're going through that content, you're going to have to actually be really diligent in how you move through the content. Okay. So I suggest Sapling Homework is 14%, and we'll talk about reopening up all the Sapling Homework at the end of the semester. Okay. And I'll talk about also in a little bit later about how I would go about approaching an online class and doing things every day. Okay. Is there any questions so far on the grades? All right. Let's move on to the online policies. So you're going to be moving through Canvas modules, and you're going to have to move every day through these modules in class, in your class. Lab and lecture has been merged. So
a note to the instructor, and you can do that and let them know that you're waiting. But most of the time, you just need to wait a few minutes, and the instructor will go ahead and start the meeting pretty soon.
All right. Hello. Can you please mute your mic? Okay, I think that was Claude. Anyways, so moving on. So the Canvas module, you're going to have to go into Canvas and go through the modules, and I would do it every day. And I would just plan every day to sit down and do it for a couple hours a day. So in class, our class takes 2.5 hours a day, and your lab is basically 3 hours a week. I mean, 2.5 hours a day. Your lecture class is 2.5 hours a week, and your lab class is 2 hours and 50 minutes, so 3 hours. So every week you're supposed to spend 5 hours and 30 minutes in class. Okay. And you're also supposed to do about for every 1 hour in class, you're supposed to have at least 1 hour outside of class. So I've designed this content for you to be spending about 6-7 hours a week to go through, and it will take you about that much to go through. All right. So that's the Canvas modules. We are going to be holding weekly office hours. So every week on Mondays, every Monday at 9 a.m., I'm going to be sitting here on WebEx. Now, you are not going to be required to attend that. Okay. But I strongly suggest you do hop on if you have some questions about homeworks or things like that. Okay. And I can answer those questions for you. Every end of chapter, you're going to be having an exam, which we already talked about. So our next exam, which is going to be on voltage, is going to be in about 2 weeks. Okay. And you'll have a 2-day time period to complete that exam. If you miss it during those 2 days, I'm sorry, you get a 0, and that'll have to be your drop. Okay. So if I schedule an exam, please, go ahead and do the exam. I'm being very flexible on the times, giving you 2 days to complete the exam. But again, when you log in and start the exam, the clock is going to start ticking. Okay. Just so you know, I want to keep the option open to change the syllabus should this system become too difficult and you guys start to not do well in the class. I'm going to want to change the syllabus and the grading structure so that it actually, if I do, it'll be in your favor to help you guys. Okay. So let's talk about Sapling Homework. Sapling Homework is going to be your friend on this. The homework assignments are going to be due by the due date that I set. Okay. If you miss the due date and without even trying to attempt the homework meaning zero progression, if if I look at it and you haven't even tried a homework, the problem that I've put on there, that's going to count as an absence, and 3 absences, and I have to let you go from the course. Okay. And this is going to be a little bit more, I'm going to be more diligent on this in order to get your, to keep you guys on pace. The other issue is in online learning, you have to regulate your own learning. So again, if you're not going through the activities, you're missing the due dates of all the activities. So if I say you have to complete everything by the end of 2 weeks, and you don't have everything done in that, the number of activities that you miss, that's going to count as an absence. All right. And finally, virtual labs. Basically, that is your lab class. If you miss 2 lab classes, I have to drop you from the class too. So it sounds terrible, but most likely I doubt any of you are going to have an issue here. Okay. But just every day when you wake up, I would sit down and I would have a set period of time that I'm going to do my homework and do my on-class work. Okay. And do it every day. Just every day at 9 a.m. when I wake up, I'm going to start class, and I'm going to all my different online classes, and then I'm not going to finish until 12 or 1 o'clock. And you just do that every day. Okay. So you've already signed up for Sapling. I've added WebEx in here, instructions for WebEx. Okay. Into the syllabus. So is there any questions on the syllabus so far, guys? Nothing? All right. Let's go into your class. Let me show you the modules. Let me show you what I've created for you. So when you log into Canvas, you're going to see this as a landing screen. Okay. And let me go ahead and I'll show you from your perspective. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to log in as a student. And this is what you should see when you log in. Okay. So when you want to start to progress through the content, here, let's look at what we have on the screen. You have the announcements areas. You could reply to announcements. This is where I'm going to be announcing exams. Okay, exam dates and things like that. I'm also going to schedule it in the actual calendar too. And I'm also going to post it as a text in the actual modules. Okay. There's a discussion area. So each chapter has its own discussion forum. So if you have some questions for each other or for me, you could post it into the discussion forum and I could get back to it when I can, but that's asynchronous. You have my cell phone number here. If you need help, you could call me. The best way to get a hold of me is through email though, too. So let's go into the modules. So here is what happens when you click on modules. You get to right here. And here is where all the resources are. Okay. So I've put videos of how to change your user settings in Canvas, how to change your notifications in Canvas, and also put your pictures and things like that into Canvas. I've attached the textbooks to here. We now have, I was able to get a loaner of a physics textbook for us by Coletta. It's not the greatest textbook, but it's pretty good. And you'll be asked to do readings from this or from this every week. So OpenStax textbook will bring you to here, and we're going to be starting on potential, electric potential or voltage, as well as potential energy and kinetic energy. So that is the textbook. Oops. The physics fundamentals textbook is a downloadable PDF. So you could download this to your desk, your own computer. And when you get in here, here is the textbook. This is the one that I'm going to officially use for our class. Okay. So it'll be, you'll be asked to do readings for the class. And so today and tomorrow, you're going to be doing readings for this before you start the modules. Okay. So this is the voltage textbook. Well, this is the textbook, and chapter 18 is going to be where you're going to start. Okay. You probably haven't had to read before in this class, but you are going to now. Okay. So basically, when I cite readings, please do them. And we're going to be using the Coletta textbook. All right. So any questions over that? No? All right. Online resources, Sapling, you could sign into Sapling here. If I have a scheduled WebEx, you could get to the WebEx here, click on it, and it gives you to a page, and you could just click right here, and it'll log you right into the WebEx. Okay. I've also, we're going to be using Adobe PDF. If you don't have it, you could download the Adobe Reader from this link right here. Why are those locked? I'll find out why those are locked. That's kind of weird. But they're, so anyways, Adobe Acrobat Reader is right here. You could download that, and there is a walkthrough to adding shapes here by a guy who's a Kiwi. But I've also attached my own video where you can see me interacting with the WebEx, with the PDFs in PDF Reader. And it shows you how to mark up a PDF, and so you can turn it back to me. All right, Microsoft Whiteboard. Should we have to do something online where we need to be interacting together on the same screen? There's this thing called Microsoft Whiteboard. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and that gets to here. So it's a free download from Microsoft, and it basically, when you set up something, it set up the actual app, it gets you into right here. And what's really cool about this is I'm going to move this out of the way. I could copy this link, and if I go into the chat window, I could put this link right here, and then Isaac, do you want to do me a favor and click on that link? Thank you, sweetheart. So I think if you click on that link, you could come here and start drawing. Well, you can't, because I'm sharing my screen probably. You'll have to minimize my screen. And you'll probably, you know what? I'm sorry. You'll have to download that too as well, I think. Isaac, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just loading.
Oh, okay. So sorry about that. I probably should have asked you to load it first. You also have to have it loaded on.
No, it's okay.
But the cool thing is with this, you could draw on here, and it recognizes when you're trying to draw certain shapes. So I'm drawing a horrible, horrible triangle, and look, it turned it into a triangle. And so on here, I could draw like this, and I could put a little theta here, and all this X, all this Y. Oops, I think, what is this? think you're trying to sync. So you could actually do this too. Can you draw on it now, Isaac? I could also draw a circle, and it turns it into a circle.
The bandwidth's a bit tight.
Okay, sorry about that. Don't worry about it.
No, it's okay. It's in a process. It's just my wife's working from home. We're on this, and
Yeah.
so bandwidth has gotten a bit cinched down right now.
Yeah, I get it. The cool thing too is you could move, if you draw some things and you want to refer back to it, you can move it over here. So Microsoft Whiteboard is a really cool thing to have. Oh, good job. You just drew a little question mark. So this is a really cool tool that you guys could use to get together if you needed to. So you could jump on there and you could actually tutor each other in this system. I was just using my Wacom board, but it works really well with a mouse too. So I'm using my mouse to draw this. Oh boy. And it's able to do everything. So really cool resource. So I strongly suggest if you guys are doing homeworks or quizzes together, you could jump on and start a whiteboard up and work together.
Jim, I have a question.
Sure.
So I tried the whiteboard and it shows an error, so I don't think it's working.
It shows an error?
Yeah, it says an error occurred while processing your request. You don't have permission to access this whiteboard.
Okay. Well, it should be open to anybody that I shared the link with. So.
Really quick, is this Luis?
Yeah.
If you're doing it over the web, I got the exact same error. You have to download the app and you won't have any issues. I don't necessarily know why, but yeah, the web version isn't working.
All right, I'll try that then. Thank you.
Thanks, Manny. So, anyways, cool. I just wanted to show you that resource because that is a really, really good resource for you guys to actually do homeworks together. And you could just call each other and then, do homeworks over Whiteboard. Another resource for you guys is Zoom. Zoom is a lot like WebEx that we're using right now. And you could set, it's actually really cool. I wish we were doing Zoom because you could set the background to artwork. And I think if you hold your meetings and they're under 40 minutes, then you're okay to use Zoom for free. All right. Any questions so far? Well, I've opened up, I've opened up Gauss's Law for you guys, and that has a bunch of linked videos to Gauss's Law. So that, I believe that homework is due this Friday. But again, we're able to get through Gauss's Law, but I wish we had a little bit more time to finish it. So if, again, all the homeworks, all the grades here, I'm giving it a grain of salt. So Gauss's Law is, so here's a bunch of like really cool videos, a link to Gauss's Law. When you log in to go through voltage, which is going to be your first real, module or chapter rather, the first thing that comes up is this voltage discussion. Okay. And here you could post questions. So just reply to it and post a question, and I'll try to get in and answer it every week. If you need to, you could call me and we could jump on a Microsoft Whiteboard and I could help you out. So I'll try to be around as much as possible for you guys. But that being said, I don't know if you're going to need me too much. So So after you do that, so once I hit voltage discussion, this just means that you have to click next, and then it sends you on to the next page. All right. And going back out to the modules, I'll show you what has happened. So that just opened up the next thing, which is the introduction to voltage, and this is the reading quiz. I would probably not start the reading quiz unless you've actually done the reading. So today and tomorrow, I want you to just read the chapter in Coletta, which is chapter 18 on voltage. Don't take the quiz unless you have read that chapter, okay? Now, there are easier quiz questions, but again, it's timed, and that should be 14 minutes, not 10. Okay, so there are easier questions, and should you have done the reading, you should have no problem in answering those questions, okay? And you'll notice that, well, I think it allows me to move on here. Actually, it's not allowing me to move on. I can't see what's in the lecture. I can't attempt the tutorial. I can't do anything unless I've attempted that reading quiz. Okay. So those are the modules. If I take the quiz, and I'm going to go ahead and just do the quiz real quick. I'm not even paying attention to it, and let's just say I answer just the first question and submit the quiz. Okay. And the time's running up there, and it was running for 9 minutes and 50 seconds. It's not going to show you your answers, but I got it wrong. But once I've submitted the quiz, now I could move on to the lecture. Okay. And you see, I'm going to put a video here today, but there's notes that you can, I've downloaded, you could download the notes for the video that I'm about to post today. And this is basically what we're going to be going through. So I'll have a lecture on that, a recorded lecture. I've also attached other people's lectures there. You could just click past that. You should watch those things, because you have to watch those things, and then I'll do a couple tutorial problems, but then you could download this tutorial, which is a PDF. And when you download the yeah, question?
Yeah, can you review the quiz results just to know which question you got wrong?
No. Unfortunately, well, actually, I've designed this for other instructors, and one of the other instructors was basically saying, how do you know students aren't going to be cheating and telling each other what the answers are? And so I thought that was a valid concern. If you take the quiz and you know which one is the answer, you could then pass it on to someone else. So unfortunately, the quizzes are just that. You're not meant to really learn from them. It's actually testing to see if you've actually done the reading. So.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's not to say that I can't jump on a video with you and go through those quiz questions and talk to you the next week about the nature of the quiz questions and what you're supposed to learn from that. But again, the quiz is supposed to be designed to test if you've done the reading, and if you've done the reading, the quiz question should be pretty simple. But the end of activity quizzes is what will test everything that you've done in that chapter. If you've watched the video, if you've taken good notes, if you've done these tutorials, that kind of stuff. Okay. So another type of activity that you're going to have to do is called the lecture tutorial. It's also a lot like this for the labs. You'll download, when you get to here, you'll this is another type of assignment. You'll download a tutorial, which will be a PDF form, and it'll have fillable areas for you to type your answers in. Okay, so the first thing you do is you type in your name. This one, I believe, you actually have to circle your answers here. And since I'm in the web form of PDF, what you should do is open up the PDFs in Adobe Acrobat Reader, and then you'll be able to interact with it. And there's a how-to guide on how to do that. So you'll mark up this document, and then you'll turn it into me, and you'll submit it. And after you mark it up, you're going to save it, and then you submit it back into here. So you click submit, upload your file, and then you could just submit it. Okay. Any questions on that? So here's how to mark up a document and that kind of stuff. So essentially, what I've designed is I'm trying to give you as many tools as you possibly could have, right? And you are supposed to get through voltage, which starts here in 3.0, and it goes all the way to 3.4, okay? And so within this next 2 weeks, you're going to have voltage completely done, okay? That means you have to have the readings done, the Sapling homework done, submitted all the virtual labs, and also all the lecture tutorials, done all the reading quizzes, watched all the lectures, and taken all the end of activity quizzes. Okay, so that's basically the first. So there's the end of activity quizzes aren't on every activity. So anyway, so you'll have to have done that within the first 2 weeks. Okay. So any questions over the class resources or past content? Again, today, the first thing I want you to do over the next 2 days is to just do the reading. Don't try to start the voltage activity, because once you start in that reading quiz, it's going to set a clock and start timing you, okay? The other thing I want to mention is that I've made a decision, and I don't know how great it is, but we are going to have to extend the semester. The semester is not going to end on May the 4th. So I know this is probably bad news for a lot of you. Because we've had an extra 2 weeks to spring break, there's no way we could get through the content. We need to get through voltage, circuits, magnetism, and light. So basically, we have to get through all of this stuff, and we have if we started the semester back and we had to be done by this break, we'd only have 3 weeks to do it. And for you to move on to your next courses, I am with just voltage. We'd probably barely get through voltage and maybe start circuits. You need magnetism and induction at least to move on. So I am going to say this, that the semester is going to end during this week right here. 17th through the 23rd is going to be our last week of class. Okay? Of May.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the 3.0 introduction?
Sure. Yeah, right here.
So the readings that are assigned on that, which one because it says OpenStax Chapter 7, but there's 2 OpenStax books.
Yeah. So I want you to use the Coletta textbook. That'll be your main source. I wanted to put these other books up here in case you have one of the other books. All of the reading questions, all the reading quiz questions that I put in there are basically from every textbook that you could get. I'm not a big fan of the OpenStax textbook. I think it's not a very good book. Coletta is definitely a better book for you guys. And you could download that in the modules area.
So,
and right here.
okay. But for that 3.0, we're just going to be reading, for that first reading, it's just from that textbook, chapter 18.
Yeah, chapter 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Is it confusing, Manny? Is it confusing that I have a bunch of textbooks there? Would it be better if I only had one? What do you think, Manny? I can't hear you if you're talking. Sorry. So anyways,
can you hear me?
Can you guys hear me? Manny, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. The thing that was a little bit confusing was if you go back to the thing, it says physics 131 had the OpenStax textbook plus the Knight textbook. Yeah. And then the very said physics 101, 111, 121, and 111.
Basically, I put this. In our regular class, we were using OpenStax, but I also recommended the Knight textbook. Should you had a chance to purchase one for $20, there are eBay books of the Knight University textbook that are like $20 right now. Really great textbook. Should you have picked those up, you would be reading this stuff in Knight. But everyone now has access to this Coletta PDF. So I wanted to cite that too.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other part that's I know is confusing is you have 101 and 112. Well, 101 and 112 people have access to the OpenStax textbook and Survey. And it's a different OpenStax textbook. It's a college physics one. So I had to design content for all of the physics courses, not just mine. So that's why I put that here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just a little confusing because there was so many options.
Yeah. Would it be better for you if I just removed those? Do you think that would be a little bit more clear?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't interfere with any of the other classes.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I'll do that stuff today. I'll just basically delete this line and I'll remove 131 stuff. As I say, 121. Anyways, so I'll make that clear. Are you guys gonna be okay? I'm really worried about you guys. I want you to have a really good education, and I want you to feel like you've gotten a lot of value out of the money that you've paid and hard work that you've been doing this whole time. So, anyways, so just to recap, the grading changes. All the grades, I'm going to be very relaxed on the grades. So whatever you turn into me as far as the labs and the lecture tutorials, I'm going to look at it, and if you've sincerely attempted the labs and lecture tutorials, I'm going to let you move on to the next stuff. The reading quizzes but the end of the activity quizzes are difficult. So I'm not. I might change that actual grading for it to be better for you. And the tests, you're going to have 2 more tests. One test is going to be done in Canvas. One test is going to be done in Sapling. I'm going to be pretty nice about the grading on that too. Okay. So I want you to always remember that I'm on your side and I'm going to be here for you guys. Okay. So whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. Okay. So I'm going to try to help you out as much as I can. Any questions?
Jim?
Yeah.
So for the Canvas, for the test in Canvas, is it multiple choice or is something that we have to write down on a paper and submit it and scan it and submit it to you?
It'll be done in Canvas through the actual quiz system. There's a multiple fill in an area place.
Okay.
So you'll have to type in answers. You'll have to type in your answers. You'll see.
Okay.
It's either going to be that, or I might actually have to put it into a PDF form with fillable in areas. And like I said, Isaac had taken a similar test like that. You'll do fine on it. I do recommend, though, that you use Microsoft Whiteboard to help each other out when you're actually going through the homeworks and going through the lecture tutorials. On the tests, you are not supposed to work with each other on tests, okay? So try to be cool. I know you're going to want to. I'm sorry. I know. I know you guys just, but you're not, you're supposed to test your own knowledge. So this is going to, again, think of the tests about giving feedback. Oh, darn it. I forgot to mention that. Your last test, test 2, I haven't had a chance to grade, but the calculus problem that I put on there was not a well-written problem. So I'm only going to grade the other stuff that everybody did well on. So that second test, you guys are going to do better than you thought on it. So I'll include it if it actually helps your grade, but I'm not going to include that first calculus problem if it hurts your grade. Okay? All right. Is there any other questions before we stop the meeting? All right. I'm not seeing anything in chat and nobody's chiming in. So I'm going to be holding for you guys a WebEx every Monday from 9 to 10 a.m. So jump on if you have some questions about the homeworks and things like that. Okay? All right, guys. Give me a call. Let me know if you have any questions during the week. I'm going to have another WebEx tomorrow. No, you don't have to join tomorrow, Fernando. You can join tomorrow if you have some questions, but that is going to be for the other 131 class. So there you go. So today, please do me a favor and start doing the readings. Coletta, chapter 18. If you don't like that book, then do the OpenStax chapter 7 or Night chapter 28, 29, and chapter 28. Okay? All right, and please begin the quiz tomorrow. Okay?
Hey, Jim,
Yeah.
will you be holding any meetings on Wednesdays?
I can. Yeah. If you need help with something, then I'll tell you what. Send me an email, and I could start up a quick WebEx, and you could jump on.
All right.
But I'll be available. I don't want to schedule it because I want to schedule just one meeting a week. But if it starts to look like we need 2 meetings a week, then I'll start a second meeting on Wednesdays in case you need help. But if you need anything from me, call me or email me, and I'll start a quick WebEx and see how we do. Okay?
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Everybody. Sorry, there's a question. Don't read all 3. Don't just concentrate on one book. If you have the night textbook, just use that textbook. If you only want to use the OpenStax textbook, use that one. If you think the Coletta textbook suffices for you, please just use that one. Okay? So go ahead and do the reading today. And as the semester goes, I'm going to make adjustments to the syllabus, but if I do, it'll be in your favor. And I want you to know I'm on your side. I'm in here with you. And I'm going to be doing my best to help you out, okay? I've been working 10, 12 hours a day, which is the reason why I probably look terrible, for the last 2 weeks, ever since I started suspecting that the campus was going to shut down. So I've been working extremely hard for you guys, and I want you to do well. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. I hope you do well. Start the readings, and then tomorrow log in and start doing the quizzes and do the reading quizzes. All right, talk to you later.
Have a good one, bud.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.